Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are going to convert Grimaldus today. Should be a quick one, but he is one of my favorite characters. Helsreach is definitely my favorite novel from the Warhammer universe, or the 40k universe. He is the Reclusiarch, or the head chaplain of the Black Templars, and also known as the hero of Helsreach, which again, if you've not read Helsreach, I highly recommend it. So there's some things that I like about the GW model, and there's things that I don't. I think they easily could have made this more art or lore accurate. Um, the model's great, don't get me wrong, but there are a few key couple of things that I want to change or would like to change to make it a little bit more specific to me and my army. So this is the artwork that I'm going to be using as my muse. It's very popular, and I think this is the perfect Grimaldus representation. So if we look, there's the first one is the pose. So I think the artwork is just so much more dynamic and looks like he's really in battle, whereas the GW one is a lot more. Um, I guess he's still charging, but I don't know. It just looks weird, and I don't like how his plasma pistol's being held, and I like how it's shooting. He's shooting the plasma pistol in the artwork itself. So the first thing is the plasma pistol itself. We got to add the scope. All the artwork has the scope, and then the next thing would be the pauldrons, which I think are an easy one. And then lastly is his relic up on his backpack. So first things first, let's get Grimaldus out of his off his sprue, get all the parts out, and start kind of getting a plan together to convert those four major pieces. My first piece was getting out or going in my bits box. I found a pauldron from the upgrade sprue, and then I needed to find an arm, a left arm that was kind of straight out. I ended up finding this one. I believe it's from one of the old Crusader squads, and that's what I'm going to be using. So to get that started, I had to get the arms ready, or the hands off. So I ended up cutting the bolt pistol off right above where the chain connects on both that one, and then also the one that the Grimaldus hand as well. That way I have a good basic connection point that's uniform across both pieces. Again, I was lucky enough to have some spares from the Primaris Crusader squad, but you could probably use a regular intercessor bit. And again, just cut it off because you want to keep the chain because that's part of the lore and the image, but you don't want to. So you want to find a good arm, a good straight arm, and then you can really kitbash it with anyone. But I was lucky enough to have the Primaris Crusader squad. And sorry about the focus. I do improve upon that. I ended up changing cameras a little bit and got a better viewpoint of this, but I apologize for now. But again, I'm just attaching that hand to that arm that we found in my bits box. That was just basically a straight out aiming the pistol. So next up, we get out the scope. I had two different scopes that I found. One was a little bit longer, one was a little bit smaller. I ended up going with the smaller one. I believe these were both from just a regular intercessor kit. I think they give you plenty of these, so you should have, if you have an intercessor kit, you should have some spares sitting around. You should have maybe in one of the infiltrators or one of the Phobos or Reavers kits. I do have one of those, but I did not end up looking for those. But I was happy enough with how the way that this scope fit on there. It was a little finicky just because it's a small connection point. So I tried to use my tweezers, but again, it's just a small connection point that I had to kind of just manhandle it and hold it on there and get it to go with a little bit of plastic glue. Next up, we'll look at the pauldrons. So this is one from the Sternguard veteran kit. I grabbed that one, and then I just grabbed the one that I found in my bits box. I did end up cleaning this one up a little bit. It had a Black Templar kind of iconography on the cloth, and so I figured a good way to kind of clean it up and hopefully match the lore or the artwork a little bit better. I just kind of carefully scraped and cut that away. then cleaned it up with a little bit of sprue glue. Nothing too crazy, but it did take a little bit of time to get the to look right and get it to look nice and smooth. So now back to the miniature, the posing. So I did end up keeping the torso and the stepping and everything the same. It's a little bit different than the artwork, but that's okay. Uh, but to get those arms on, I did have to do some scraping and ended up basically just removing some of those pieces um, so that I can get it to kind of pose the way I wanted to pose both of the arms. For the right arm, the arm that's holding the Crozius, I didn't end up uh, changing that arm at all. So instead of just having it straight out, I basically just kind of turned it down and kind of made it look like the artwork. I figured that was good enough. I didn't feel like I needed to worry and try to, manhandle it, figuring it out, how to pose it exactly like the artwork. And I was happy enough with how it looked like that. I just wanted to test fit the head a little bit. So the head I think had some uh, uh, indentations where was supposed to fit, but so I just kind of shaved those off a little bit and then I posed it, and so I wanted to get the head looking in the right direction, kind of towards where he was aiming. Obviously, again similar to the artwork, just to kind of match that up a little bit. The plasma arm was a little more difficult. It would have fit and it would have looked fine with it just the way it was, but I didn't like it. I didn't like how it was going with where I had the head pointed and everything. So I did shave it off a little bit. Ended up using some sprue glue to then adhere it to kind of fill in some of those gaps. You can't see it once you get the shoulder pauldron on, but it did take a little bit more grinding or shaving away on that side to get it to fit just how I wanted it. Like with any Kitbash, I mean, it just kind of takes time, and you got to be patient. You got to let the glue set and let it kind of do its thing. And um, a lot of it's just kind of small little incremental changes or tweaks. Um, I spent a lot of time on this, but again, it was just because I wanted to get it right and didn't want it to look. I didn't want it to look like too much of a Kitbash, which again, I think I achieved by the end of it. You can see here too, it looks like the scope ended up coming off. I probably, as I was messing with that arm, kept knocking it off. So I just kind of set that to the side and then I reattach it. So the next piece to Kitbash was the sword or the relic on top of his backpack. They're pretty similar, but there's more skulls on the artwork, so I wanted to try to match that just because I thought it looked really cool. So I started with one of my Citadel skulls out of the Citadel skull box, drilled a hole in that so I can put a pin in that, and then attach it to uh, a sword that I found in the Primaris Crusader squad. I had an extra sword that had a skull in the hilt instead of the shield. Um, so I ended up having to, put those two pieces together to try to pull it into kind of one cohesive look. The hilt was a little bit weird. I did end up cutting one piece off because I wanted to keep the candle, because again, that's part of the artwork. So I actually cut part of the handle off, or the cross guard, and then reattached it with a little bit of green stuff and some sprue glue, excuse me. Um, and I think it looks great. I mean, I think it looks just like the artwork. I did end up having to cut it down a little bit to make it look like that relic piece, but it turned out really well. And I gotta say, I'm sorry again. I struggled with getting the focus here. I think it's because of where my hands was and where I had the camera. I promise I'll get better at that as I get as I keep doing these. But uh, I do apologize for this, and again, I'll get out of my own way. But what I'm just doing here is I cut the sword down again to kind of give it that jagged edge like it does in the like the one that comes in the kit, and then also like the artwork has. And honestly, it was really just digging in and making some divots and some cracks and stuff that go into the top to make it look more like a broken sword rather than just a cut at an angle sword. So that was pretty much it for the relic, and the rest was just, putting it on the backpack and getting it all ready to basically go back on the model. I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think it was one of the more challenging parts because there was a lot more, cutting and fitting and trying to make it look right. So I'm pretty happy with that. The only thing I added here that I don't know if I got a video of, I did end up adding that purity seal that shows up in the artwork. There's like a cross purity seal, which I think really adds to it. And I'm happy to say that the Black Templars Upgrades Guru and pretty much any Black Templar kit has those type of purity seals. So if you have one, it's a real easy way to just throw it on there. So here it is. We're all finished. I love this. Ended up putting it on one of a resin topper that I got to kind of look. I'm going for kind of like a Helsreach look, and I ended up putting even an Astra Militarum skull and helmet on there, which came from the new Battlefield Trophies kit. I really like this. I think it looks close enough that I was hoping for. Not perfect, obviously, because of the legs and everything, but honestly, I think it looks great. I may even FDM print or buy like a plasma effect for him to shoot out of the plasma pistol. I love it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know if you guys have any conversions that you want me to do, because I can definitely come up with more. I have some more that I'm hopefully going to do here soon. A lot more characters. I love doing the characters from the books and the novels. I think that those are really cool. And then, like, even if they have a model, it'd be cool to do. So let me know down in the comments what you want me to do. Like and subscribe. Thanks again for watching.